What's up, everybody? Listen, welcome to this special edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. I am so excited. Listen, let me know that you are in the house. Listen, again, my name is Marty Sellers, and I am your mental health hygienist. And I am so excited to bring to you part two of Letters to Our Brothers, 44 Black Men. If you missed out on last week, you need to go back and look at that. There was some powerful things out there, and I'm so excited. Listen, let me know you are in the house, good people. Let us know you are out there. Speak to us. Tell us you're in there. What's going on, everyone? Listen, let me just say this, y'all. You know, we are still in the midst of this pandemic, and I just want to caution you and tell you all, listen, still use wisdom. Still use caution out there. Nephew, how are you, man? Good to see you in the house. Yes, use caution and be wise in all you do. I am so excited. You need to invite every Black man, every man that you know to check out this edition over this next month that we're doing. This is such a powerful series, and I'm just so elated to be invited to host such a powerful series because we need to know the success stories of our Black men everywhere. And that's what this is all about. Yes, we do fight through some things in life. Yes, we do have some difficulties. But like Maya Angelou says, and still we rise. So without any further ado, I want to bring to the stage Mr. Jason Mahoney. Yes, Jason, what is going on, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
You know, we are making it. We are getting stronger every day. So how's it going for yourself?
It's going good. It's actually storming outside here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So hopefully the electricity does not go out, but we're going to be fine. But I love a good storm now.
Okay, well, we got nothing but sunshine. You know, it never rains in Southern California. It never rains. So, listen, have you had time to recuperate and just to digest everything that happened last week?
So from last week, man, it really took my mind to a whole different level of altitude. I mean, it was amazing. The show it really kind of just shook my world due to the fact that I was able to sit back and realize that this book had so much power and it was really impacting people. So I'm just at a point. I'm on cloud 9 right now, so I don't even know when I will come down. I posted a picture recently on Facebook of myself sitting in a windowsill, but I would look like I was floating, and that's pretty much where my mind is now that I'm floating.
Yes, I hear you. Last week was so powerful because you had your own mentor in there who pushed you. And I love it because it was each one reach one. Mm-hmm. That was almost the message that I got from that. And we have a responsibility. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Exactly.
So talk to us again for those who might be joining us for the first time. What was the purpose behind Letters to Our Brothers? I see you have it behind you. That's beautiful. Yes. What was the purpose behind Letters to Our Brothers?
So the purpose behind Letters to Our Brothers, it was birthed from a place of I needed to hear a word from a Black man that was going to pour into my life. I was making some career choices, really just going through some different things in my professional life and just in my personal life as well. And I needed some words of encouragement and I needed to hear from someone. And so I had traveled to my hometown and just get away from everything. And I went to my mom and dad's house, and my mom and dad, they was like, well, you know, you left our house years ago. You need to get the rest of your stuff out of our house. You know, that was like, you know, I was using their house as my storage. So I went to the storage shed and I began to just get some stuff out. And I found a letter that my childhood pastor had written me.
Wow.
And it was never opened. And the letter was about 20 years old. Right. And I had never opened the letter. And so I just happened to open it. And it was a few short words, but the words were those like those bullets that would, like, you know, hit at you to make you do something and move. And those are the words that I needed. And so as I journeyed back home, I just felt this newness and everything. And so what the Holy Spirit said to me was that if a letter could impact me that much from one Black man, how big would it be to impact other Black men by letters? And so that pretty much made me do the call out there to say, hey, I want to pull together a group of Black men to really get this out, to encourage people. And my goal was 44. Excuse me, my goal was 50, but it stopped at 40. But it stopped at 44, and that's the interesting story how I stopped at 44. And I kind of talked about that last week. But the whole inspiration was a letter impacted my life and from a Black man. So I felt that this is something that we can do as well, and even do during this time of oppression and systematic things that are going on African American men. We couldn't read and we couldn't write at a point, but now we can read and write. So this book even talks about that on a whole different level, to show that Black men, we're reading and we're writing and we're impacting each other.
Yes, I love it, because we're breaking all stereotypes that people in society has always had about Black men, and why it's so important that we encourage each other, why it's so important that we leave letters, why it's so important that we leave legacies. I'm about right now, one of my missions is leaving a legacy for our children.
Absolutely.
Because we have to stop continuing to always reinvent the wheel, but we have to have some point from which our children can continue to build upon and not start from ground zero again. Yes, listen, let's jump right in here.
Absolutely.
We got some powerful people in here.
Powerhouses.
Yes. Our first guest today is Dr. Dwayne. Introduce Doc to us and let's bring him on.
So Dr. Dwayne, and he and I, we're a part of the same church denomination fellowship. And so he and his wife would often fellowship at my church. And so we both are short. And so when the spirit would get where, and he's a little bit taller, but people would call us, people would sometimes call us popcorn, because we jump so high in the sky. So he might be on one side of the church and he's jumping high and I'm jumping high. So it was like a Jack in the Box type thing going on, or what have you. Right. And so we just kind of hit it off since then, and I'm just a really good brother that I look up to as a father figure, a big brother, just a good person. And so that's Dr. Dwayne.
Dr. Dwayne, welcome to the show, man. So glad to have you.
Thank you.
Definitely. So besides church involvement, what made you, one, accept the call to this brother Jason? Because in the short time that I've known Jason, I'll let you do the rest.
Anybody that encounters that much energy and that much power, unless you just have a heart of stone, you can't resist. When you realize you accept, you submit to what your true call is. When the invitation to respond to that call comes, you have to accept it.
Yeah.
Whether you really want to or not. And like you said, our church fellowship is dynamic. That's how we met. And we met in a praise environment, and it was wonderful. And now I'll tell you, he and I are close, but he and my wife, that might as well be brothers and sisters. I don't get it, but I ain't mad at it. It works. It's okay.
Right.
When he approached me about being part of a book, I had no idea what I was going to share. But I've learned that all of our decisions are going to merit a reward, or we're going to suffer a consequence. So when I titled my piece Decisions,
right,
we are faced every day with making a decision. When God cracks the dawn, and then he touches us to experience the cracking of that dawn, we have a decision. What are we going to do with that day? I will go get out of bed. I was going to go brush our teeth. I was going to take a bath. I was going to eat. Before we leave the house, we're faced with decisions.
Yes.
So in implementing that same process as we encounter each other, yes, we are brother's keeper. That's true. But how are we going to make decisions that are going to benefit not just our lives, but the lives of everybody we encounter? So when he asked me, I had to sit down for a minute. My mouth said yes, but my spirit said, "Fool, what did you just do?" Because somebody is depending on you to say something, to do something that's going to mean something to somebody else. And when I thought about it, and even when I go back and reread what I wrote, I had to sit down. I said, did that really come out of me? It couldn't come out of me. It could not have come out of me, because I know me. I know what I've done. I know what I've been through. I know what I heard myself say. I know what I heard God say do. And I know when I obeyed, and I know when I was disobedient. And all of that, I'm yet still here.
Yes.
which
Doc,
has nothing. Yes.
no, no, say how because so many of us, especially we as black men, we beat ourselves up so much for failures. We don't let things go, and we become our worst critics, and as a result, we go down this road what I like to call the road of bad decisions. With that, so I love the title of that: decisions, decisions, decisions. What made you pick yourself up, if I could say it that way? Past, because we all have our past. We, you know,
Yes.
the Bible says it, nothing but by the grace of God, there go I. But what made you get past your past to push forward in truth and righteousness?
It's not about me. It has nothing to do with me. And that portion was reinforced when I accepted my call to ministry because every action I implement, every word I speak, every decision I make has nothing to do with me. And it has a residual ripple effect on everybody I encounter. When I got married to Mrs. Angela Elam, and I'll let Jason tell you that story, that part was reinforced even more because what we say and what we do affects those that receive it directly and indirectly. So, in that particular piece, decisions, before I speak, before I act, my thought process is when this particular piece of energy has been expelled and is concluded, how is it going to be beneficial for building of the kingdom of God? And that's what rests on my tongue, and that's what rests on my shoulders. Do I get it right every day? No, I don't. Am I going to get it right every day? No, I'm not. But if I keep that in the forefront of here and what's
Yes,
here,
yes.
then as days grow and as I grow in grace, in love, and grow in the power of God's love, every day can be better.
Wonderful,
Wow.
wonderful.
Wow.
When young men read your portion of this, what do you want them to get out of it? What do you want them to take away?
Before you move, before you make it. Now, unless it's an emergency, if you're drowning, yeah, get out the water. But outside of that, before you move, if you have time, the first thing is stop, think, and then reason.
Stop,
Because
think, and
think
reason.
and reason.
Okay.
Because when you've done what you're going to do, what's going to happen to those that have seen it or heard it?
Wow.
Because you might not have a large regard for yourself, but understand everybody that's been placed on God's earth is intertwined and connected to somebody else. And we like to believe we're independent. None of us are independent. We're interdependent.
That's good. Good.
We depend on somebody else, and somebody is depending on us, whether we know
Yes.
it or not. I read or heard somewhere a long time ago that at any given moment there's 7 people watching you every day
Wow.
that you don't know of. And you never know how your actions are going to have an effect on somebody else's response as to how they determine how they're going to respond based upon how they view you.
That's good. That's good. Jason, what do you want to share with Doc?
Uh,
How has his piece impacted you?
So Doc's life is just and he and his wife, I can't see them not together. They're like a power team. So I would say collectively, they impact me, but they're just powerful, good spirited people that encourages you, empower you, uplift you. And so I appreciate Doc in his life just because it's he's just one of those people that he's going to speak life. He's going to encourage you. He's going to motivate you. And then also he's going to challenge you to go to your next. And so I appreciate that, just the inspiration, the love, and just the support that he provides. And like I said, I can't leave his wife out, because they're like, like he said, his wife is like, we tie like this, but just good people. And I appreciate them for just being who they are in my life.
That's good. That's good. We need more docs in our lives.
Absolutely.
We need more docs in our lives.
I don't know, but if you say so, I take it.
No,
absolutely.
because we all have been there. And I realize now at this stage in my life, I'm in the coaching stage of my life. And my job is to help these young men in their teens and 20s and early 30s to help them make proper, and I love that, decisions, and tell them about the poor decisions I made, like you said, so that they don't have to continue to bump their heads up against the same brick walls.
That's right.
And too often we have pride, and it's, and we have to break those pride and tell them, listen, I did this, I messed up here, I almost got kicked out of school, all those type of things, because I did not take care of business. I didn't make the right decisions with it, because we did not have mentors then, bring a first generation to go to college. With that was new. So, and I went to UC Berkeley. And so that was kind of, who did I have to call on to push me through all that? And this is back in the day before cell phones and all that. Brother couldn't afford a house phone. So, collect call from Marty.
I can tell.
Listen, don't tell it.
Okay.
We there, Doc. We there, Doc. Well, you had a calling card.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't know nothing about that, Doc.
No. That's right. No. The MCI calling card. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Doc, we had to go to the library and go get a book.
That's right. That's right. Check it out.
The Dewey Decimal System. So y'all know nothing about that.
Say it. Talk about it.
Yes, sir. And you had to get there before the library closed.
No, that's right. Because when they locked that door, it was locked.
It was locked.
That's
Doc,
right.
listen, I cannot thank you enough for your story is so powerful. And I say it again, we need more docs in our lives. That. So yes. Hey, Annette, how are you? Listen, if you are just now joining this show, get every man out there and listen. We got some more powerful people. Doc, I'm going to put you in our green room again, and then we're going to bring you right back at the end of our show and everything. But Doc, thank you so much for coming on and wow, y'all. Get the book so you can read Doc's story. Decisions. Excellent. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Yes. Jason, while we're talking, how can people get letters to our brothers? How can they get it?
They can actually go to Amazon.com and they can actually type in letters to our brothers, Jason T. Mahoney, and it'll actually pop up. You can get it right now. It's on Kindle. It's on Kindle for a special. And then you can get the hardback copy or the paperback copy. And so you have those three options. Like I said, you can go to Amazon.com or you can go to letters to our brothers book.com and actually go to the webpage. But you can really go to Amazon.com and type in letters to our brothers. And this book will actually come up. And you'll be able to kind of get that. And you can actually see it behind me there as well.
Yes. Okay, let's bring out our next one. Mr. Darius. Talk to us about Darius.
So Darius is like my little brother. Darius is a giant. Darius is a person that speaks life. He's living life. Darius is a brother that has a genuine spirit and just has an anointing on his life that is so powerful. And when you talk with him, you're gonna see that. And interesting enough, Darius' mom, we kind of phrased her as the mother of this book because she was with us through this whole entire journey of putting this book together. And we may have to have her on the show one day, but she's a powerhouse. And so, but talking with Darius, and when he gets on, if he could just share a piece of his story, if he would like to. But there are 44 black men in the book. But Darius is the only brother that has a PS statement in the book. And so, but when you meet him, you will understand why he has the PS in the book, but then also why I consider Darius to be my hero, even though I see him as a little brother, but Darius is
Right.
actually my hero.
I love it.
Yeah, just my hero.
Let's bring him on.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Mr. Darius, how are you, brother?
How are you? How are you? Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So I'm going to ask you this. What allowed you, or what, everyone's saying the same thing about accepting Jason's call to write this letter?
hmm
Yes. What made you accept your call to write this letter for Jason?
Well, I accepted because it was a point of time, maybe 6 months before he came to me, that I wanted to do something like this anyway, but I didn't know how.
Okay.
So when he came to me, I was like, bingo, here we go.
Right.
There it is. So yeah, I was more than happy when he started talking about it. I said, "Oh, I know where this is going." Yep, you don't even have to, keep going. I'm in, brother. I'm ready. Yeah. So I knew I wanted to try to help
Right.
with what I was going through to help somebody else, because I knew there was people in my situation who didn't have anybody, and if I could help them by what I was going through, I'm ready for it. So I'm a tool right now.
Yes.
I'm a tool. So
I read your story and was so moved by it.
yes, sir.
And I cannot capture it. So why don't you tell us your story and why it was, and then we're going to get into the PS that
Okay.
came as a result at the end of the book as well. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, since at the age of 6, I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes. So I've been dealing with that my whole life. 2016 was when everything really started catching up to me from the results of having diabetes. I was on the way to work one time, and my left eye, I lost all vision in my left eye. So I called my mom and I told her something was going on. So we went to the hospital. They told me I had a retina detachment. So my retina had detached, stimulus, like coming from the diabetes and the high blood pressure and all of that. It just caught up with me after 26 years, So
Right.
I lost my vision in that eye. So I had to have surgery to get that reattached. I had to have a cataract surgery on that first before that. So I had that surgery done maybe 4 months after that. I was in my room and I was watching TV and I picked up my phone, and in my right eye, everything just went red. So I knew something was wrong then. So we made that appointment, and I had blood leaking behind my eyes from the high blood pressure. So it caused blood to leak behind my eyes. I had that surgery. And as a result from that surgery, I was blind. I went blind because I still didn't get my vision back in my left eye.
Right.
So I was blind for 8 months.
Wait. So I don't want to skim right past this.
Yeah.
You were blind.
Yes,
Could
sir.
not see at all for
Nothing.
8 months.
Everything was gray.
Everything was gray. Lord have mercy.
Everything was in my right eye. Everything was gray. In my left eye, everything was black.
How did you? What were you going through? What were you feeling at that time?
I was scared because I didn't know if I was gonna see again. I was scared. I was so scared. I was terrified. Actually, I didn't try to let it show like that. I'm not the type of person where I show my emotions a lot. So I tried to hold it in, but I was terrified, man. I was, and at the same time, my kidney started failing. So I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. So all of this mixed together at one time, it was a lot to handle. So I was having surgeries while I was blind. I couldn't see.
Right.
It was nothing I could do, man. I was terrified. So I didn't have any other choice but to get myself right with God, to get my spiritual growth going.
Right.
And to trust in Him so much more. Everything that I had, man, I had to put all my trust in God, man, because that's the only way I made it. If it wasn't for my mom, my family, and God, I wouldn't be here right now.
Okay, you're gonna make me tear up my computer and run around like we at church. I need a B flat buck right now.
Yeah, it was bad, man. It was bad. I lost my best friend. I couldn't go to his funeral.
Right.
I lost him to suicide.
Wow.
Before he committed suicide, I talked to him maybe 3 days before that, and I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't get to him. So it was a lot, man. It was a lot.
Darius, you're saying so much because one of the things we don't talk enough about is the high rate of suicide in our Black young men, especially between the ages of 12, and we go right there, 12 to 24.
Yeah, he was 24.
Yeah, and it has increased over the past 10 years, some almost 300%, but we don't talk enough about it. Yeah. And I lost a very good client of mine to suicide as well, that he took a bus from Southern California all the way to Northern California and jumped off of the Golden Gate Bridge. That is a 12-hour bus ride. And so when young men put it in their minds, they are very intentional about how they're doing it. So, so you were dealing with that, dealing with your own issues with that. So, what
started dialysis. I was on dialysis. I couldn't see I had to sign paperwork blind. They had to put my hand on the line, and I had to sign it as best as I could. I went back to my clinic before all of this started, and she showed me my signature on the lines of the paperwork. You know, it was perfect. I was in the line, like everything was perfect. I don't know how I did it, but you know, but yeah, man, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Right. So please tell us more of your story. Continue. I just couldn't skip past all of that you were going through.
So yeah, man, just all of that going on. Maybe after I started dialysis, I was on it for a little bit, and then I was still having the surgeries. They were trying to do injections in my eyes to clear up the blood. I remember I shared this story during the book signing, but I had my last injection that I received. We had got home, and my mom was telling me to take my eye drops. I told her, I said, "Mom, I don't think," because it's still like an open wound from where the needle went in. So like, I wasn't supposed to take those eye drops to get inside of that wound. So I'm like, Mom, I don't think this is what we're supposed to be doing right now. She was like, "It's all right, just take it. Okay, you know what you're talking about." So, you know, I took the eye drops, and like the pain went from the top of my head all the way to the bottom of my feet. Like, it was excruciating. I felt like somebody set my whole body on fire. So I just yelled out to God, like, "Lord, what did I do? What have I done so bad for me to deserve everything that's going on with me right now? Like, what? Tell me what to do. I'll do whatever you want me to do just to get my body back how it was, you know." But at that time, I didn't know how my body was not how my body was supposed to be.
Right.
You know. So I was crying out to God. My mom started praying, and I was just like, I didn't know what else to do. I was calling for my grandmother. Like, I keep looking over here because I got a picture of my grandma. Like, I was calling out to my grandmother, and I heard God say to me, after I asked him why me, he said to me, "Why not you? You know, how do you know what's going on with you right now? Isn't to help somebody in the future."
My
so
God.
From that point on, I stopped asking questions. I stopped worrying about everything. Like, I had no more worries in the world because I knew it was going to be okay. So from that point on, I stopped asking questions. I started thinking to myself, how can I use what's going on with me to help somebody? Like, I just want to help somebody else in this situation. And that's what's been placed on my heart since then, to just help people, because after I got my vision back a few months after that last surgery, I could see everybody that was in the clinics. And it was just amazing to me because 80% of the people that were on dialysis were people of color. 70% of those people of color were Black men. So I said, this can't be right. Like, what do we need to do as Black people and as Black men to keep us from being here in this situation?
Wow.
So with the training and the knowledge that I gained from my doctors, because my doctors talk to me like I'm their kids. You know, they talk to me like they keep it straight up with me, like, this is what you need to do to get yourself back right and to keep yourself right. So with all that knowledge that I got, I'm gonna use that to let everybody else know this is what you have to do to keep from being in this situation. And with this book, I feel like that was a door that was open for me to get the message out there to help my people. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm trying to hold it together, y'all.
Yeah.
So have you so what's next for you? What's next?
Well,
because you have too much in you. Come on.
Last year, April the 1st of last year, this is where the PS comes in. April 1st of last year, I received my transplant. So I got a double organ transplant for my kidney and my pancreas. Yes, sir. And like I was saying earlier, that wasn't how my body is supposed to feel. This is how my body is supposed to feel.
Yes.
How I am right now is how I was supposed to be when I was 6 years old.
Yes.
Until now, this is it. Like, I feel like nobody can stop me.
Right.
Period. Like,
right.
If I wanted to get up and run straight through this house to the next house, down the road to the school, straight through it, I feel like I can do that. Because this is how everybody's body is supposed to feel when you're healthy. You're doing everything that's right that you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
I fried food. I rarely eat fried foods because and they tell me that you can eat whatever you want. Why would I do that?
Right.
Why would I want to put myself back in the same situation that I was in, eating fried foods? And no, I maybe eat fried food once or twice a week, if that.
Right.
But my diet consists of greenery. Like any type of green you can think of, that's what's in my diet.
Sure, you're right.
That's like no sodas, nothing. Because when you feel better, you will start doing.
Come
better,
on,
you know.
Say that one more time. When you feel better,
if you don't feel like you can do anything, you're not gonna do it. So if you putting stuff in your body that's making you feel like you're invincible, you're gonna start trying to do the invincible. You feel me? So yeah.
Listen. I'm with y'all. Y'all hear this testimony. Dr. Sean talking about, you're talking good, son. You're talking good with that. Listen, you have blessed. Now I know you got to have some sort of nonprofit or something that you done started your own something. Because if not,
a nonprofit, it's just it's just me reaching out trying to help. Like, if that's my nonprofit, just by me trying to reach people that I know that are like me, who don't have anybody to talk to help them through stuff. I guess that's my nonprofit, man, because that's what I'm doing. I'm out there. Like, I'm in the trenches. I'm in the hoods trying to reach these people who don't have an outlet to go to. Like, cause I know them. Like, I know them. Like, I know I've been there with them through everything. So just me going to these people, trying to get them to just start not just acting right, but doing right. You have to do right just to get them to get their mind right in the position for them to do right. That's my nonprofit, man. And I don't want to take credit for any of this. I do everything that I do under the scene. I don't want nobody to know what I'm doing. I just want to see people do better and live better and just, live that type of life.
Listen, you've changed my life already in these 10 minutes. Man, Jason, talk to us about theirs before I go into a Baptist buck real quick.
to sit and just talk to Darius. And when I say Darius is about serving people, Darius is about serving people. And so the reason I say Darius is my hero is because for me, if I sit and find myself in a situation or what have you,
right,
and some emotions and feelings will come, and I'm like, But my brother told me, and my brother showed that what God can do for you and what he
Yes.
will continue to do for you. So I said, you know what? That's my hero. And so he does everything that he does it unselfishly. And when he said he's in the trenches, he's really in the trenches. He goes back to the clinic, volunteers, and he really speaks life into the people to the extent that the doctors have even adopted the book as a part of some of the treatment, that when when
Right.
some Black men are coming into the clinic just because of Darius's story. And so for me, that's why I'm like, Darius demonstrates God can do anything but fail.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's right.
so just a powerful brother. That's all I can say. My hero.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Daryl, put up those comments by Sean Stewart and then Trisha right after that, please. Sean Stewart says, "But we are required to do the discipline of maintaining your better." That is so good with that, because with that. And Trisha says, "I see bigger for you and as much wider reach." I agree. That's why I'm asking. What God has given you is so powerful. Yes, you don't want any of the credit and glory with that. I know you ain't gonna take, because that's not how God has wired you for that. But what He has in you, since He told you, why not you? Listen, Jason and I gonna volunteer and help you whatever you need to take this to the next level, to help push you, because you have a powerful testimony, and those are areas we don't do enough talking about. Juvenile diabetes and how that affects the entire family,
Yeah.
with that. So my
Yeah.
brother, I am so encouraged by you. Yes, I have a new hero too, Jason, and
Thank you, man. Thank
his superhero name is Darius.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
you.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
Thank you so
man,
much. Thank
it is my pleasure. So before I let you go, what message do you want to tell other young men your age today?
Keep your hope and keep your faith. That's all I had to hold on to, was my hope and my faith. I held on to it, and I promise you, God will not let you down. He did not let me down, because I held on to it, man. I had my mama read the scripture to me. I had my phone. I had Siri. I was telling Siri to read me scriptures about staying in my faith, staying in hope. Just keeping the word in me through that whole time was what I'm
Right.
telling you, man. It helps so much. It helps so much. And like, I didn't have I was raised by women. I didn't have a man to come, a strong Black man to go to talk to, that could give me words that I needed from a Black man. Like, any a woman can tell you what you need to hear, but it hits harder when you
Yeah.
hear it from somebody that looks like you.
Yes.
It. So yeah, man. Like, I the type of person, I feel like, when you don't have a father figure in your life, it's a hole in your heart,
Right.
in the
Right.
shape
Wow.
of your father. So you'll try
Ooh,
to do
that's good.
anything to fill that up with anybody that you see, that you
Mm.
think is doing what you. So like, these guys that's out here without that father figure, I try to be that to them, even though I'm young myself.
Right.
I
Right.
know, even though I'm still a young guy, still I can still help somebody. I can still
Right.
give them a word. I can still give them my testimony, to let them
Right.
see you don't have to do what you're doing.
Right.
It's other ways you can impact this world
Mm-hmm.
besides you hurting somebody or doing the stuff that you're doing, man. So it's just my reach is trying to be longer than just with people with health problems. I want to help people
Right.
Right.
that's in other ways of life, that's doing different things. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to be out
Yeah.
there everywhere, like, everywhere. My arms, my hands, my voice, my mind, the power that I have from God that I can touch. I'm gonna do it.
But
I'm
you
gonna
talk
do it.
about so many things with that. That's so important. We're talking about how our physical affects our spiritual,
Hmm.
which can also affect our psychological as
Yes,
well.
sir. Yes,
We are
sir.
three-part being, and we have to meet all three of
Yes,
those
sir.
things. Darius, thank you so much for
No,
your
thank you.
powerful
Thank you.
story, man. Wow. You got I'm trying to slow my mind down right now. with that. But yes, Jason, some parting words for Darius before we put him in the back studio real quick and bring him back up.
So I'm just gonna say, Darius, thank you for the hope, because that was something that when you and I were talking, when we were pulling your piece together, it was always about hope, and so you really let people know that hope is real.
Yes,
and
sir.
and if you have that hope, you can do
Yes.
anything. And so I definitely appreciate you, and you already know that we're gonna do some things. We're gonna do some things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank
Again, thank you so much.
Right, thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, Jason, you trying to kill me.
Look, so, and Marty, and the thing is, and I tell everybody, the book is powerful because these brothers were authentic in everything they put in the book. And so, and everybody that you talk to about the book, they will give the book away before they even sell the book, because the whole purpose is we want people to understand, if everybody read this book and take the power and control back, we can get back to the point of having Black men rule where we need to rule. We collectively believe that. So 44 Black men can come together and do a project to this magnitude to shift the atmosphere. Imagine 44 times 44 times 44 times 44, and so on. And so I believe we can do that.
Right. Well, man, you keep messing me up. I'm trying to hold it together. If I could play an organ, I'll be up laying on it right now, and everything. Yes. Thank you, Michael, for your says. Take your power back. So, talk to us about our next guest that's coming in, Mr. Marcel.
So Marcel is actually, I'm laughing. Marcel is actually my fraternity brother. But I actually
won't hold it against you.
Yeah.
I won't hold it against him that he's your fraternity brother.
But Marcel is actually more so really and truly like a brother. Really and truly like a blood brother. But Marcel has a nonprofit organization called Accelerating Men. And so it's about 5 years old, going into his 6th year. And Marcel had a vision for this mentoring program. And so I always make the joke that I'm on his board, but I actually work for Marcel, and working for Marcel is no joke. Okay. Working for Marcel is no joke. And I think, somebody, Miss Andrea's watching this, or somebody, but Miss Andrea's on the board with us. And so working for Marcel is no joke, because he's about business. He's about service. He's about outcomes, and he is really about empowering these young Black men to get to where they need to be. And so I enjoy working with my brother, but he runs a hard ship.
I can't believe anyone runs a harder ship than what you do.
Listen, Marcel runs a hard ship, but it's all for the good. And thing about Marcel is, what is interesting, Marcel is an international R&B recorded artist, R&B gospel artist, internationally known, but he still makes time for his mentoring program to be present with the young people. And that's what I admire about Marcel, is that he can be on the stage with the most famous people in the world, but then he's going to still get off that stage and go to the people. And so he's never disconnected from the people. And that's what I admire about my brother the most, that he does not forget about the people.
Excellent. Well, let's bring Brother Marcel on. Definitely. Hey, sir, how are you? Oh, are you there?
Hey, I'm Brother Sellers.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little delay, but we got you.
We got you.
There we go. How's everything going, sir?
It's going wonderful. I'm just enjoying this conversation with all the other brothers. I'm just overjoyed just by the conversation, so I'm grateful.
Yes. So listen, I had a chance to read your story as well, and let me say, it blew me away. And that you still have the strength to give God praise and everything. Now, you sure you're not a therapist? Because you was talking about some of my favorite people, Eric Erickson. Now, with that, I said this brother got to be a therapist in here.
No, man. I'm just I'm a change agent. Want to see change in people's lives, and my background is psychology and human behavior. So
yes,
that's probably what Erickson came in and spoke to the letter.
spoke in the letter.
Yes, yes. I said, okay, this brother got something in psychology because he talking some truth about Erickson with that. So, what made you answer the call to Jason besides y'all being frat brothers and all that?
I didn't have a choice.
Does anyone
I
have a
didn't
choice with Jason?
Nope. You don't have a choice. But even with that being said, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me just to empower other Black brothers and to write a letter to them and to hear other brothers come alongside me or Jason come alongside Jason and just share their heart and be open and be transparent about their stories. There's so many stories that were written in this book. And again,
Yes.
I'm just so excited just to be able to step back and listen to the other brothers, Dr. Dwayne and Darius, just to hear their stories and learn more about them. So just the simple fact that I can come together with other brothers and we can unite together and to share a common vision.
So, Jason, besides strong arming everyone, because everyone on the feed is talking about you don't have a choice with you. Someone earlier called you the Black Mafia.
And the reason being because I'm a motivator, and if I see somebody with their gift and they're not using their gift, or they're hiding their gift, or they're afraid of their gift, and it's already in full bloom, it's almost kind of like an eagle. I see you as an eagle. Why are you in the chicken coop? It's time to get out. And so because I know you're an eagle, I need you to get away from the chickens. And I say that because I had to do that myself.
Okay.
I had to get out the chicken coop.
Right.
And so then when I see other fellow eagles who have so much potential, I'm gonna say, listen here, you're gonna soar. We getting out the chicken coop, and I'm gonna push you to soar. That's
good. That's good. You're gonna push us to soar. We'll go into a whole analogy about eagles later, because eagles are lonely birds. They don't hang out with a whole bunch of people at all.
Exactly.
And they hover over high areas where other people can't. Yes. So that's a whole nother story. Brother Marcel, tell us your story. What made you want to share what you shared with it? Because I was totally blown away by your story, and thank God for your willingness to be vulnerable and share something that can be, we as Black men don't talk about sexual assaults.
Right.
And you're absolutely right that it goes unnoticed, it goes unreported, because of shame and those type of things as well. There's Idella Johnson. Hey, Idella, that's my girl there. Love her to death. That's
Dr.
you. Yeah, you know Dr. J?
Yeah, I know Dr. J.
Okay. She and I went to UC Berkeley together.
Oh, wow.
We were singing in our group, Fishers of Men. She would lean on that organ and baby would shout in them heels. Love her to death. Talk to us about your story.
Yeah, so shameless plug before I was introduced to the 44 Letters to Our Brothers. I've actually written my story called Still Living, a Victimized Man's Journey into the space. So you can also find my story in its entirety in my first book called Still Living. But I was able to write a piece in this book called No Matter What, how tough life is, don't lose your mind. Because life gets tough sometimes.
Yes.
It gets rough sometimes, but how do we continue to keep our mind sane and not lose our minds in the thick of things? But my story is a sexual assault survivor story, and I'll share it in brief. You can get both the books to be able to get more of the story. But almost 8 years ago, I was called off guard in North Carolina, where I was held in a home invasion. And I was held gunpoint, handcuffed, and blindfolded for about 2+ hours. I didn't know if I was going to survive or get out of that situation. But when the robber shoved me in the back room with the gun in my head, he told me if I did everything he told me to do, I may live. I may live. So just think about that for a second. How my mind began to race and to think about that moment of trying to survive or trying to, get out of there. But in that moment, I said, let me survive. This is what he's telling me. I'm going to give it a try. He began to shove me in the back room and handcuff me and blindfold me and shove me into another room and began to brutalize me. Brutalized me with the pole and treated me like I was a dummy. Treated me like I wasn't even a human. Began to call me out my name, things I've never heard anybody say to me because I knew who I was during that time.
Right.
But during this incident, he began to pull down my pants. And I want to speak directly to those who are listening because oftentimes we don't hear these types of stories. But
Sure.
he began to pull down my pants and he took the pole and shoved it up my anal several times to the point it did so much internal damage that I lived with a colostomy bag for about 4 months. So I was hospitalized for about 4 weeks the first time, 4 to 5 weeks the first time. And again, I didn't even know where I was because after the surgery, about 8 or 9 hours surgery that I experienced because of the internal damage that took place, they had to keep me in for that long for me to relearn how to walk and really, regain some other things in my life. As I was in the recovery process. But 4 months later, I was able to go back into another surgery and get my colostomy bag reversed. So I was grateful that I was able to get that reversed. And after that, having that reverse, I was faced to deal with the things that I did not ask for in my life. I was faced to deal with the things that I didn't ask for. I didn't ask for this, but I had to face it. Yes. How do you face the things that you didn't ask for in life? Wow. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with those challenges? And I went through counseling. I went through professional counseling, not just spiritual counseling. Thank God for the man of God who was, of course, a part of my life and supporting me and navigating through the many challenges that I faced in my mind, in my spirit, in my soul, in my emotions. But it was professional counseling that helped navigate me through the difficult things that I was thinking, the different things that I was feeling. I didn't know how to really navigate through those things. And oftentimes when we experience challenges or catastrophes in our life, Erickson says that they're not the end of the day for you, that those particular challenges and those can be turning points for your life. So I had to realize who was I in God, right? I said, this thing can't take me out. I know that there's more to me than what I experience. There's more to me than what I see. So I had to make this thing turn for me. And Erickson also said in the book, as I mentioned, it is how we respond to our situations that will either dictate or determine our final destination, right? So it is only our response. So I had to ask myself, how should I respond? Because I know how humanly, how I wanted to respond, but spiritually, I had to put on a whole armor of God because I really didn't want to put on a whole armor of God because I really didn't want to fight. I wanted to give up, right? When life, brings you those challenges, but I had to trust in God. And I'm not trying to preach, but I had to trust in God with all of my heart, lean not into my own understanding, in all our ways that I had to acknowledge Him, and it was only Him that directed my path and everything that I did. There was so many challenging nights, so many challenging days that I wanted to give up, that I wanted to throw in the towel, but it was because of His grace. It was because of His mercy that allowed me to really, really dig deep beyond the surface, internally. Greater is He that's in me, that is He that's in the world. I had to dig. I'm just thinking about even in that experience, how I'm based off of statistics, I'm not supposed to be here because 1 in 6 young men before the age of 18 will be sexually assaulted. Before the age of 18, 1 in 6. Right, those are statistics. Those are ones that are not reported. When I began to write my story and I began to share my story, there were so many men that would call me, right, on the phone or even in different venues. They would share with me that they were sexually assaulted and they can't tell their friends or their family because they wouldn't believe them or they would be ostracized. Right. So it was those experiences and those moments when I realized that God is using the story for the good. Even the enemy thought he was going to use it for His glory, but God had another plan for me, and I had to adjust myself to this. I had to adjust and had to align myself according to what God had for me and the purpose that God had for me, because I did not know that all of this was going to take place. I've been in different platforms. I know it wasn't Marcel's doing. It was only God. And because I responded to the call and answered the call, God allowed me to be here today.
Wow. I ain't got nothing to say. Yeah.
The truth, man. I'm telling you, I'm still like, whoo, Lord, thank you.
Yes. Because that's such a powerful, powerful testimony that yes, I love this. Adjust for your purpose. Yes, yes. Come on, Michael. Talks about this. So with that, understanding that God has something greater, because one of the scriptures I have always tried to lean upon says, and we know that all things work together.
Yeah.
And even when we don't understand, God is still
Mhm.
working some of the what we have might have called the most tragic things in our lives to work it for our good, not just for our good, but for those who are going to be benefactors of the good that we receive out of that as well. I can't even imagine with that. Talk to, for you, your journey of healing.
Mm.
Because you
My
talked
journey of
about,
healing,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, it's a continuous process. I recently recorded my latest album called Road to Recovery. The road to recovery isn't easy, but you can get through it. You can get over it. And it's a continuous process. I wanted to, when I started talking about healing, I'm healed. And I wrote a song called "He's a Healer." I talked about I'm healed, but I
Oh,
also
yes.
realized that was just different for me. For me, that was different stages of healing in this process for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I was still healing in different aspects and different components of my experience, what I encountered mentally, spiritually, socially,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, physically. There was so many things that I was healing from that I didn't know that I still had to dig a little bit deeper
Yes.
from being traumatized and being
Yes.
hurt and being let down from that experience. So the healing process for me is continuous, is forever growing. I'm healed by His grace. I'm healed
Yes.
for
By
His
his,
by the wounds and all of what the Scripture says in Isaiah. But even with that, even with the wounds and even with the blood, I'm still processing healing.
yes.
I'm still processing healing in the midst of all of what God had done for me in my life. And for me, it takes me being quiet and not having a response to every situation and conversation. That's what healing is for me. Prayer is healing for me.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is, really meditating on not only the word, but meditating on people's word, the right conversations, not having every
Come
conversation
on.
that comes in my space, but having the right one.
Yes.
Everybody cannot heal you. Everyone cannot give you,
Yes.
the thing that you need for your life. So you have to make sure you get the right people in your situation, the right people in your corner. Because the Bible says, don't be misled because bad company corrupts good character. So everybody doesn't have good character help you to lead in the right direction to your
Right.
extended healing. So for me, I
Yes.
had to relearn who I was. And I
Oh,
would
that's
always
good.
tell myself, I need to get back to myself. And God said, no, I'm trying to get you to something far greater than what you were.
Wow.
Old things have
Mm.
passed away, but whole God has made
All
things
things
new.
new.
I'm trying to get you to something greater. I want to. That's old, Marcel. Just forget about what had happened to you. You're going to be greater and better than what you experienced.
Mm.
If you just see me for who I really am, I'm going to show you
Wow.
something far greater. So stop thinking you got to get back to something that you really, it really wasn't helping you. And sometimes you had to go through this in order to get to where God really wants you to be. And I didn't see
Ooh.
that. And I was mad. I was upset. I was angry.
Thank
And I
you.
was,
Thank you.
I was mad. I was upset.
Wow.
And it was emotional for me. I cried even as a man and just didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to really relearn myself and reassess and analyze who I really was at this stage of my life. Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for me, healing is a continuous process. I'm still healing. I always say God has healed me, but in my mind, I'm constantly healing in different aspects and phases of my life.
Yeah, so look, so it's trauma not transformed is transferred. Yes. So we wow, yes and amen, right. Healing is a process.
Yeah.
And thank you for admitting, because especially those of us in Christendom, we believe we can't get angry.
Hmm.
We believe that we can't be mad. There's this book I read years ago, and it was called In His Face, and
Mm,
it talks about the life of Job,
mm,
and what I love that I took from this book, it says, listen, you can be angry with God as long as you do it in his face and tell him. Don't tell other people, because ain't nothing that other people can do. Listen,
mm.
God knows you anyway. Why not
Right.
have the honest conversation where, God, I'm angry. Now you ain't got to do anything about it, but I'm just letting you know with that. And I love that you went through the process of saying, I'm angry, I'm hurt, I don't understand this. Why me? All of that, and yours goes back so much with Darius. It says, why not you? Now. Someone said earlier about the cost of oil, and that's what I'm seeing. People don't want to go through what you had to go through for the anointing. The anointing is powerful, but it cost you a whole lot in that. So I'm blown away. I really am with that. Um, Talk to us about you have your own foundation nonprofit, correct?
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that, because I think, and whatever my organization, Marcel Consulting and Mental Health Services, can do to contribute to support, we want to be a supporter of that, because you are so right. There are so many men who are sexually abused, and with that, I also do work at a group home, and
Wow.
some of my boys here recently have shared some of the sexual assault that they've had growing up, that it was hidden in the families, and I also work with AIDS Project Los Angeles with young men, and
Wow.
they and even hearing their stories, it is mind blowing, and being able to connect these young men to say, hey, you too can survive this.
Hmm. Hmm.
So talk to us about your organization and the purpose, and how do we even get a hold of you, and how do we find out about it some more?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. So, Accelerated Immunization shared earlier that he's a board member and part of. We are a community faith-based mentoring program that educates, trains, and cultivates African American males. Let me be specific on that: African American males,
Mm-hmm.
ages 10 to 18, to accelerate in their God-given identity. Real simple. We just help young men to identify their God-given identity. We focus on spiritual formation, character building, identity development, internal discovery, and leadership development. So we focus on the whole man and helping them to, again, to navigate into the things that God has planted on the inside of them. So
Mm-hmm.
we help them to build their foundation so they can, again, to build their identity. So you can go to our website at www.acceleratingmen.org and learn more about who we are and what we do. But the interesting thing about our organization, I just saw our bridge parent here. We have a bridge parent and child advocacy component where any young man that participates in our program, the parents or parents are
Mm-hmm.
required and mandated to participate in a monthly workshop. It's not an
Come
option.
on.
It's not to tell them that they don't know how to parent, but in my experience is teaching high school special education for 5 years, I realized how non-involved the parents were. So I wanted to include
Right.
them in the situation and provide something for them. And then it has been a safe haven for a lot of our parents, and they look forward to
Yes.
coming, even though it's required for them to be a part. But we provide monthly workshops for not only the young men, but also our parents as well. So we focus on the holistic approach of the family, making sure that all participants are involved in developing, right, and moving
Mm-hmm.
forward. Always moving forward is our motto. We would want to continue to move forward in all what we are called to do in God. So this is our 5th year. We just came out of our 5th year, going into our 6th year,
Wow.
and we graduated.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We've graduated 4 guys from our successfully graduated 4 guys from our program, and all have either went into a career path or a college or university. So we're excited. Let's continue to do the work on the ground. Again, we're
Mm-hmm.
excited for our next 5 years coming out of our 5th year,
Excellent.
and we'll have our open houses coming up on July the 25th at 11 o'clock. The information will be provided on our website over the weekend and on our social media feeds. But again, we only have a couple of slots available. So each young man have to want to be a part of the program in order to be a part of our program as well. So we're excited, again, just to be able to go into this new mentoring season. And it's going to look different for a lot of us, but we're still going to mentor and deliver our service to them.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Man, what an amazing job with that. Jason, what do you want to say?
Working for Marcel.
Don't say that, Jason. You crazy.
When you work for Marcel,
you know it's the other way around.
You know, serving as a board member, but seeing the organization from, you know, when he sat down and talked about it as a vision and seeing it where it is now, it's just amazing. And so, and a lot of people will see Marcel and see some of the other brothers or what have you in the book, and they're like, I want to get there, and they want to automatically jump there, but they don't understand the story that people have gone through to this glory. And so I think, you know, if people can understand that when you're going through something, you may not appreciate it then, but the end result is this is a part of my process. Yes. And it was a part of my process. Now I understand why and where I am today. And so I appreciate Marcel for many other individuals would have given up, but Marcel made the decision to say, you know what, I'm gonna move forward. And so you all have to get his CD. It's the bomb. But just a powerful brother, and I appreciate him for not just being my frat brother, but I really consider him a brother.
Excellent. So glad to have you, man. Yes. What is the name of the book again, Marty? The name of the book is Letters to Our Brothers. With that, that's my cousin there. So definitely, please get it. Again, you can get it on Amazon. And then, Marcel, your book title is called again?
It's called Still Living a Victimized Man's Journey. I'm Purpose to Live.
Okay, excellent. And I actually saw you on Amazon as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Most definitely. Listen, before we depart, I want to bring everyone back up on the show. Hey, Thomas, praying for you, my brother. How's everything going? Let's bring everyone back up real quick. Listen, Doc, Darius, how we doing?
Doing well.
Excellent. All right. Listen, I cannot thank you, brothers, enough for coming on today and just sharing your own testimonies and sharing your input with that. So listen, any parting words I'm going to let y'all get on Jason now. What y'all want to tell Jason? Since he kind of mean muzzled everybody into the book, Black Mafia style, and everything. Doc, what you got to say?
I would tell Jason, don't stop. Don't ever stop. And I've grown to know that what God has placed in you, it won't let you stop. Even when you don't feel like it, it won't let you stop.
Right.
So I thank him for the consideration. I thank him for his friendship. And I'm appreciative of him being obedient to the spirit that's in him.
Yes.
And because he is the mafia kingpin, I want him to understand. Always know I would never kiss the ring.
Well, don't you come up with a ring next week either.
So, you know, that's what I was gonna say. So next I'm like, hey, here's the ring, Doc. Here's the ring.
Doc, if you see a ring, run.
I ain't going nowhere. I got no notes. I ain't got
Brother Darius, what about yourself?
Man, I just want to tell you thank you, man. Like, you already know you're more than like a brother to me, man. My mom adopted you as her son, so I have no choice but to say you're my brother anyway. You hear me? So it's just like when you think of people that's heroes, most people think of people that's like Michael Jordan, Jay-Z, people like that. But coming from where I'm from, you look at a hero as somebody that's like you. And I feel like you're a hero to me because I can see me in you.
Wow.
So I strive every day to be more like you.
Wow.
Than I would for somebody as like a Michael Jackson. Because I don't know him. I don't know Michael Jordan. I know you. I know what you have accomplished, what you're gonna accomplish, and what you help people to do that's like me. Who wants to help, who don't know where to go. So I thank you, bro. I thank you so much. Like, I love you so much, man. Like, without you, I wouldn't be able to do the little bit that I'm doing right now. So I appreciate you, man. I really do. I love you, bro.
Wow. Love you too. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Amen.
Wow.
The difference of one person can impact the lives of so many. Brother Marcel.
Man, crafted to motivate. He's the motivator. When you think about the word motivate or motivation, if you're in Jason's convoy, if you're in his circle, you attach Jason with motivation. So again, all I would say, Jason, just keep motivating yourself, motivating us, and motivating the people around you, because God has placed a motivation in you that's just unreal. And again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this journey with you. I'm looking forward to what's next as well.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Jason, parting words.
So two things. So I'm going to part with one thing and the other. Marcel know what I'm about to do. So Marcel knows that I will never put him on in a platform and he's not going to be able to sing something.
Wow.
Because everybody needs to hear this international recording artist. So Marcel, think of something to close us out with the single with.
Okay.
So think about that and I'm gonna call on you. But internationally known, check out my brother's CD, just doing some really good stuff. But
yes.
I would just say to these three brothers, I appreciate your journey. And I appreciate your journey because your journey lets somebody else know that, you know what, I can do it as well. And again, I go back to the statement of when young Black boys see Black men like us and understand that, that whatever they're going through at that particular time in their life, they can look at us and see, you know what, if they made it through their story, then I know that I can move next. And so I appreciate each of y'all for working with me on this project and really being people that are serving humanity. And so far too many times people get into positions but forget to serve. But yet they'll tell people I love you. And I always tell people, I can't love you if I have not served you. And I can't ask you to follow me if I have not served you. And so I just believe in servant leadership. And I believe in, all of those things. And every one of these brothers embodied that. And I appreciate them for just being that. Darius, his mom has adopted me. So that's my brother. Dr. Dwayne and Miss Angela, they just done brought me in their forward, so they can't get rid of me. Like I said, Marcel's my brother. He live up the street. Just good people. And I appreciate all of you for being a part of this journey. And I believe that we can change the world if we continue to move this forward.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Jason, I'm starting to believe you like the plague. We just can't get rid of you.
But see, Marty, but there's a technique. And here's the technique, what I kind of look at, right?
Right.
So you're in California and you have your mental health agency or what have you, right? And so, and Thomas is not on here, but Thomas has his mental health agency. And so in my crazy mind,
he's connecting all the dots.
Right. In my crazy mind, I'm like, if we want to take over the mental health world and have our own industry of providing mental health services for our people, then you have Marty and Thomas and Nicole, and you have these African-American organizations that can now take over the world of mental health if they work together. Okay. So then you have Darius, who speaks life into people and who's encouraging and who's that patient rep and all that. And so Darius now takes over all the patient reps and has his own company where he's training patients reps and doing all those things. So then now they're speaking the same language. And then you have the doc here, and he's not saying what he does, but the brother is bad. So you have this brother who can teach other people to do what he's doing, and now he has his own school. You now have Marcel, who's the international recording artist, a mentor. So all the mentoring programs can follow his path. So then you connect the dots and you take over the world.
Come on, Pinky.
We got to work together. That's the key. If we work together, we can take over.
I hear you. Thank you, Jason, as always, for bringing these amazing men together with us. So, in closing out, Marcel, you want to close us out with something?
Mother, there's so many of you crying. Oh, brother, there's far too many of you dying. You know you gotta find a way to bring some loving here today. Oh, Father, Father, there's no need to escalate, 'cause war is not the answer. Only love can conquer hate. You know you gotta find a way to bring some love in here today. Let us to our brother. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Wow. That's what it's all about. Listen, we want to thank you again for joining us for this explosive week of Mental Health Matters with Marty. Listen, tune in next week. We're going to have Jason. I don't even know what you're going to do with this next week. And everything. You keep blowing me away, man, with that. So again, gentlemen, thank you so much. As always, thank you for joining us on this week's edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty. If you are just joining us, listen, do a watch party, come back and do that. Listen, how do you stay in touch with us? You can always text I Matter to 31996. Again, text I Matter to 31996. That'll keep you posted with everything that's going on with Mental Health Matters with Marty. Also, check out my podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and there we go. With that, our Mental Health Matters with Marty on our weekly podcast with that. And please like and subscribe to that. We'll be so grateful for that as you do that. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Hope that this has been, listen, I don't know about you, but I have been so motivated. And as I always say, don't suffer in silence, but speak up, speak out, and live. Until next week, thank you. God bless.